Write down everything you did the day that made you incredibly upset, mad, stressed, felt like you're in limbo. Like, write down your daily. And then I bet through that, you could go by and be like, okay, I love doing this. I hated doing these other 9 things. Okay. Then by process of elimination, what can you eliminate right now? You know, can you stop eating bad food? Can you go to the gym? Can you go for a walk? Can you meditate? Can you journal? Can you start reading? Can you cut off your mom, dad, your friend, your boyfriend, your girlfriend who's causing you stress and problems and making you miserable? Like, what can you cut off now? Okay, you can cut off, I guarantee you can cut off 4 of the 9 things immediately. So already right there, you're already out of the limbo. Like, you're already getting in the process. Do that, you have to go to work. You have to spend time alone by yourself and figure out why you're upset. Figure out what makes you happy. And it's not easy. It is not. Like, I think the best place you can honestly be as a human, the most dangerous place you can be as a human is when you have nothing to lose and you're at the bottom. And you're like, I will do anything to change my situation. Whereas like humans are like, oh, but I don't want to fail. I don't want to be at the bottom. When like for me, the best thing that ever happened to me was hitting rock bottom and being like, I'm done feeling this way. I'm going to do anything to change it. But it's all up here. Like, at the end of the day, I imagine someone who's going through a really hard time is probably from outside judgment and not their own judgment. So then it becomes, what's your relationship with yourself? How can you love yourself more? And at the end of the day, when you lay your head on the pillow, be like, I don't care who likes me. I don't care who's in my life. I got me. And that became a super pivotal thing with me. I was like, I don't need anybody. Like, I can take care of myself. I enjoy myself by myself. And through that process, you'll find really good people that actually want the best for you. And that for me is my brother Joshua. He was with me at the worst. Now, as I've like gotten better and I'm like hitting my stride a little bit, he's right there with me. And I know no matter what happens, I have him. And that's how you find real friends. Whereas like too much in life, we want that superficial friend and it causes us to become a different person. We start to like cater to that person when it's like, you don't cater to anybody. Fall in love with yourself and build from there.
Definitely personally resonate with the thought around like you have nothing to lose. And like in my old job that I hated there 3.5 years, that was definitely my rock bottom. And there's a song that I play very often, and it was just like, you've got nothing to lose. And that's part of my mentality shift. And like the whole thing from there was just like one day at a time.
I'm getting like goosebumps right now thinking about like when I was at rock bottom. I was like, man, I was fucking dangerous. Because it's like you would do anything. You would do any I was willing to do anything to change my circumstances. Anything. Through that, started making content, started going to therapy, started putting my life on the internet, like on LinkedIn. Like, I got some like deep ass posts that like would make some people uncomfortable, and it made me uncomfortable to post it. But I'm like, vulnerability is strength. Putting out your problems, your insecurities for everybody to see is actually the biggest strength that no one talks about. Because I put out that like my dad was making me miserable, hating my life, and put a ton of pressure on me and my brothers, and I hated him for it for years. You can't make fun of me for that. I put it out. I put it out. But it hurts people that they don't put out their insecurities or their darkest fears. When somebody else puts it out, they're like, oh my God, they shell up. The greatest thing somebody can do is literally face your fears, attack it head on, and literally put it out there for everybody. That was like my pivotal shift. I've had a lot of deep posts, but I remember one like vividly that I got a ton of people like from like my childhood that reached out to me, and it was really specifically about like my dad and like how he put pressure on me and my brothers, and I like hated him forever for it, and really it was like why I left. That was so uncomfortable to put out, and then I still put it out. And like ever since I've done that, I'm like, well, if anybody saw it or anybody looks at my post, they're gonna see that and know like, oh shit, like that's deep. And you want to know what's the crazy thing is like when I started making content and doing all this, I was like, man, I'm at such a bad place that I just want to help one person. The power of putting out things is so crucial because you don't know who's going to grab onto it. And everybody's so worried about like getting 1 million followers or 1 million likes or 100,000 comments. When it's like, if it helps one person, you're making the world a better place.
Completely agree. And it's definitely the mindset I have with the podcast. And like say, if one person listening right now takes away something and they find it valuable and then it has an impact on their life in a positive way, then it's worth it.
I'm going to give you some flowers. And then when you help that one person, you have to keep doing it because then you're playing with house money. I've had so many people reach out to me and be like, you're helping me. They're like, I can't stop now. Because it's like, if I've helped one person, 10 people, 50 people, like, fuck, I know I can help 100. And then it's like, you help 100, and you're like, man, I know I can do like 1,000. It's just, you're playing with house money. You've helped the one person, like you got to help more. There's so many people out here that need this podcast, that need real conversations. And I'm going to push you on it to make sure you keep doing this because I have incredibly enjoyed this conversation. And like from afar, I love what you're about. But like, we have to help as many people as we can. Like the only way a life is worth it is when you help people. It's not greedy. Like through helping people, you're going to make more money than you've ever imagined. And then when you get the money is really just a transfer of time. Because money in this day and age means absolutely nothing. It's fake. They print it. Doesn't matter. Has zero value. Money is a transfer of other people's time. So as you make money, you can then help other people through that. And then it's just this cycle. Like when you help out people, the universe is always keeping score. Always. That's why karma exists, positive and negative. When you're a bad person, the universe is going to bring around bad shit to happen to you. Happened to me. Humbled the fuck out of me. And even like to this day, I'm like, when bad stuff happens, I'm like, ooh, I probably deserve that from 4 years ago. Like, I got to eat that. Like, that's on me. But when good things happen, I'm like, fuck, I've given so much good to the world. Like, I deserve that. Now it's like, how do you keep it coming? It's all about building up this karma and good energy because the universe is all about attraction. When you put out positive energy, when you help people, you put out these tough conversations that most 20-year-olds would not be talking about, or it's too hard for them to comprehend because they haven't went to war with themselves to figure it out. One day they will grab onto it. Like you're going to say one word, I'm going to say one word, and that person's going to be like, they're right. You're eventually going to find 10, 20, 100 people that love you so much, Ben, and that love this podcast that are then going to become your biggest marketers by word of mouth and making their friends listen to certain episodes. And they're going to be like, I love this dude. And like, that's the power of like the cycle that the universe brings around. So like, that's like my biggest thing for anybody. Like chase positive energy and be a good person. And I promise you something good's going to happen.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And, I think a lot of people maybe do want to have an impact on the world, but they need to help themselves first, right? And like I say, like you need to fall in love with yourself first. And then once you fell in love with yourself and, you're in a good place, then you can help people.
You couldn't have said it better. Like that was my thing with me. Like I had to go to war with myself. I had to love myself before I could help anybody.
Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to our podcast and let us know in the comments below if you'd like this new format.